Queen, are you doing too much for clarity? It's over. You see, do you recall when I shared with you about the young man who pulled up on me in the parking lot to argue last week? If not, you can go and watch that video before watching this one. You see, there was a time when I wanted and I asked him for clarity repeatedly. Guilty. Yes, I'm guilty. I just felt I had to know his why. And sometimes as queens, as women, we can feel we need to know, must know, have to know, cannot go on without knowing why. And I don't know about you, but if you can relate, can you think back, can you recall a time in your past when you said to yourself, I have to know this man's why? Well, not only did Miss Victoria, disclaimer, I have my board and the article because I'm talking about somebody's real life and I did not want to misquote. Miss Victoria, she took her quest to TikTok to find out why. Yes, but she did it after she ended the relationship. You see, her issue was she was dating this young man and she felt as though after 10 months, there was no reason why she should not be able to post a picture of them together to make it official. And so that led her to suspect this man had something else going on. AKA, she thought he had another woman. She thought it was cheating because he wouldn't allow her to post them on social media. And so she dumped him on their 1-year anniversary. And so this is why I ask, are you doing too much for clarity? Because I don't have an issue with her dumping him. She was well within her right. However, there are so many gems from this situation. There are so many lessons. I wanted to share with you 4 ways it's possible. It just might be possible that you're doing too much for clarity. Number 1, you're a right fighter. Maybe not in all instances, but if you're going out of your way to have a sense, to have a feeling of, I told you so. I knew it. I knew he was no good. That's exactly what I thought. It's possible you're a right fighter. And here's what I want you to consider. What is the positive impact you gain from being right in the fight for your life? The relationship is still over. Secondly, you only think about the impact it'll have on your life and on you. You see, this young lady, Miss Victoria, she focused solely on what she wanted. She admits that in the article. She just had to know. And so that's what inspired her to take her quest to TikTok. And guess what? She found this woman who indeed was talking to him for 2 years. She found her through the cousin. It's all in the article. I'll link the article for those of you who like to read. And I'm thinking to myself, can you imagine how this other woman feels? Because this situation, it went viral. This woman didn't ask to be part of a viral situation. And yet, due to no fault of her own, she found herself in just that, in the middle of a viral situation. And now she has people contacting her, asking her to comment and what is her side of the story. So I ask you, if you are considering getting clarity from your past, does that clarity come at the cost of hurting somebody else or putting them in an uncomfortable situation they didn't ask or want to be in? That's number 2. Number 3, it is possible you're doing too much for clarity if you disregard his request. You see, long before Miss Victoria took her quest to TikTok, this young man had already explained to her, he had already told her, he had already expressed to her that he did not want to be on social media with her. He told her he have a rule. And his rule is, hey, if we're not at least engaged, I'm not posting you on social. Now, whether you like it or you don't like it, that was his request. And she was well informed, well aware of it before she posted him on social after she dumped him. So you see, it's one thing if the brother doesn't care. But when a man you've dated or even merely casually talked to or non-exclusively talked to makes it clear to you how he feels and you disregard that and do as you please, it's possible you're doing too much for clarity. Because in all sincerity, no matter what he does or doesn't say, it's possible you're still going to be unclear on his why because you're not him. So I want you to consider this. If he did it to you, whatever it is you're intending to do to him, how would you feel? Because it's one thing for us to say we want equality, and it's another thing for us to live that out in our own lives with the choices that we make. And lastly, you violate his rights. Number 4. It's possible in that regard, if you're violating his rights, that you're doing too much for the sake of clarity. Because there is a such thing as the law. And like I said, he made it clear repeatedly about this, that he didn't want to be posted on social with her. And she violated his right to privacy. And because of what she did, she invited the WWW, the World Wide Web, into a private situation. She made it public by what she did. And so now it's public knowledge. And so she had to go back on social media and ask people, hey, don't send hate comments to him, his family, or his workplace. So you see, right there, he could sue her in a court of law. And she's saying that the internet can take things too far, but I want you to consider this. Are you willing to take accountability for your actions in a court of law? Because just because she's a woman doesn't mean what she did wasn't outside the law. And as queens, we cannot keep saying, hey, we want equality and we want to be treated equal when it comes to us getting paid, but then put a clause on equality when we choose or whenever we feel like it. So if it sounds like I disagree with what she did, I do. Make no mistake about it. No judgment. That's just my perspective. She was out of order. It was too much. And I'm not saying that this young man is right or even wrong because, hey, I'm not in a relationship. I don't know the ins and outs of their relationships or all the conversations that they had. I just know what is posted in this article. And what I can say is that sometimes people do things because they're a right fighter. And it has nothing to do with the partner or the betterment of their relationship or even them being able to grow as a person and be better in their future. What I can also say is that sometimes we can hurt ourselves, as this young lady did, because she wanted to get clarity, felt she needed to get clarity. And guess what? Now, the young man in this situation who she dumped, he knows. He knows she's on the floor crying. And those are her words, not mine. So she hurt herself. And after all of this, he definitely doesn't want to be with her or be in a relation with her ever again. So I'm talking about a viral situation here. 12.5 million views at the time of this article. And so that means that quite a few other men know how far she's willing to go for clarity. And what man do you know wants to be headline news for something like this? So please, please, please hear me. The fellas gonna feel me on this, queen, but I'm not sure about you. But I'm gonna say it anyway because I need you to be so confident in who you are. You. As a person, as a woman, as a queen, that when you say it's over, you own it. She was not entitled to turn his world upside down for the sake of clarity when she said it's over. If you ever tell a man it's over, that you don't want him, that he need to go on by his business, kick rocks, however you say it to him, if you tell him it's over, I need you to own it. Because as exalted royalty, you know who you are and you live like it. So you don't need justification of a reason why it's over. Because you said so. And because you said so, that's justification enough all by itself. So understand, the clarity you need is in the proof of his failure to make the investment and take the actions needed to show you that he's committed exclusively only to building a life with you. As always, I'm Coach Sam telling you, 24 hours doesn't seem long. But in 24 hours, you could change your life. So go ahead and do something life-changing now.